The restaurant was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft melody of live piano music. Families gathered, couples celebrated, and waiters floated gracefully between tables. It was one of those evenings where everyone felt at ease, except for one man quietly sitting in the corner booth with his young daughter. His posture was calm but alert, the kind of presence that didn't demand attention yet radiated silent strength. His name was Daniel, a single dad and a veteran who carried more scars inside than he ever let the world see. Daniel had chosen this restaurant not because it was fancy but because it was one of the few places his daughter loved. She always smiled when the pianist played her favorite tune. Tonight was special, it was her birthday. They didn't have much, but to her, sitting there with her father and sharing a slice of cake was better than all the riches in the world. She leaned against him, whispering, "Daddy, this is the best day ever." That was all Daniel needed to hear. But across the room, another story was unfolding. At a large table, a man in a tailored suit was enjoying dinner with his staff. His presence alone carried weight, the kind of aura built from years of power, wealth, and hard decisions. He was Jonathan Pierce, a millionaire CEO known in business circles for his ruthless brilliance. Few knew, however, that behind his sharp exterior was a man still haunted by enemies he had made. And tonight, some of those enemies had come for him. 5 men walked into the restaurant, their eyes scanning until they landed on Pierce. Their movements were too deliberate, too coordinated. They weren't there for food. The tension shifted in an instant. They approached, pretending at first to be customers, but Daniel noticed the subtle cues: hands clenched a little too tight, eyes calculating, steps too measured. His instincts, sharpened by years on the battlefield, screamed danger. The restaurant went quiet as the 5 surrounded Pierce's table. One of them shoved his plate aside and growled, "Time to pay for what you've done." The room froze. Waiters backed away. Families shielded their children. People whispered but no one moved. Jonathan Pierce, the untouchable CEO, sat there helpless as the men closed in. Daniel's daughter tugged at his sleeve. "Daddy, those men are scary." He looked into her wide, frightened eyes. Every part of him wanted to stay invisible, just another father trying to give his child a normal life. But his oath, the one he carried long after leaving the military, was still alive in him. He had sworn to protect. He had sworn never to stand by while innocent people were in danger. Slowly, he stood up. At first, no one noticed. But when Daniel stepped between Pierce and the attackers, the entire room gasped. He wasn't tall like a giant, nor did he carry himself like a braggart. Yet, the way he stood, grounded, steady, unflinching, made the 5 hesitate for the briefest moment. "This doesn't concern you, old man," one of them sneered. Daniel's voice was calm, low, and steady. "It does now." The first punch came fast, aimed at Daniel's jaw, but it never landed. In a blur, Daniel sidestepped and twisted the attacker's wrist, sending him crashing into a chair. Another lunged, only to be flipped over the table with precision that spoke of years of training. The restaurant erupted in chaos, shrieks, gasps, dishes shattering, but Daniel's movements were controlled, efficient, and surgical. He wasn't fighting for glory. He was neutralizing threats. Within minutes, what looked like an uneven match turned into something unbelievable. One by one, the 5 men found themselves on the ground, groaning, disarmed, and stunned. Daniel's eyes were sharp but not cruel. He wasn't there to destroy them, just to end the danger. He held the last man by the collar, whispering words no one else could hear, but the fear in that man's eyes told everyone it was enough. When it was over, silence fell. The entire restaurant stared at him, breathing heavy from the storm that had just passed. Jonathan Pierce, the millionaire CEO who had seemed untouchable moments ago, now looked at Daniel with something rare: gratitude and humility. He stood, brushing off his suit, and extended a hand. "You saved my life tonight," Pierce said. Daniel didn't take the hand. He simply shook his head. "I didn't do it for you. I did it because my daughter was watching." He glanced at her, sitting wide-eyed but safe, and the message was clear: he wanted her to grow up in a world where good men stood up when it mattered. But Pierce wasn't a man who easily let things go. The very next day, he tracked Daniel down. Instead of sending lawyers or bodyguards, he arrived himself at the small apartment where Daniel and his daughter lived. He brought gifts for the girl, but more importantly, he brought an offer. "You may not care about me," Pierce admitted, but men like you, the world needs them. I need men like you beside me. Whatever you've been through, whatever you've lost, you still carry something most men never find, honor. Daniel hesitated. He had built his life around protecting his daughter from chaos, not dragging her back into it. But Pierce didn't push. He simply left a card and said, "The world has a strange way of testing men like you. When you're ready, call me." That night, Daniel sat by his daughter's bed as she slept, replaying the events in his mind. He wasn't proud of the fight. Violence wasn't what he wanted her to remember. But he hoped she saw why he did it, that courage wasn't about strength, but about standing up when no one else would. And so, as the story spread, because it did spread, whispered by those who had seen it firsthand, it wasn't about a millionaire saved by luck. It was about a quiet, broken veteran who showed the world that true power isn't money or status, but the heart of a man willing to protect. If you're still watching this, remember this: heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they sit quietly in the corner, raising a child, hiding scars, waiting for the moment when the world needs them again. If you believe in courage, in second chances, and in the strength of ordinary people to do extraordinary things, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach others who need hope, and maybe, just maybe, it'll remind someone out there that their hidden strength still matters.